It's
Britt
gonna be
Palmer?
it's gonna be is it the guys? I think the character's called the character's called Atom, like Atom, like it's an as an atom bomb sort of thing.
Me.
And it looks like uh what's Iris's boyfriend's name?
Oh,
I
yeah,
can't.
what is that guy's
I'm
name? Charlie?
I'm blanking because Barry Joe, and I just can't think of his name right now. But for some reason, I don't think it's Charlie. Anyways, point being is, it looks like he's going to be the Reverse Flash.
Ah,
So there's a method, and they showed something about Iris too, because I think she's going to have a character. I just can't remember what that character is, but so they have a few characters that they're going to be developing, kind of hinting at throughout the. Well, when it gets closer to, like I said, I'm not sure how much past the halfway point of the season that's going to start, but they are gonna show at least one this season and maybe one the next season following.
well, that'd be interesting.
So
I don't like. I'm kind of nervous that everyone's gonna like on Arrow take on a superhero moniker. Oh, by the way, I just looked it up, and his name's Eddie.
thank you. Well, we knew it was something with an E sort of thing, right? So,
We did, yeah.
Buddy, Charlie, like. But yeah, so pretty much it looks like he's gonna be the Reverse Flash. But
That'll be interesting. So he's gonna be a villain.
pretty much, and again, thing is, this is interesting now because now there's apparently some issues and there's like some sort of time warp it's going to be, it sounds really messed up, like I said, I caught bits and pieces of this, and this is like on like one of those I guess pretty much as a spoiler video thing on YouTube, but I kind of like that's why I was only half paying attention, so I got bits and pieces, but from the stuff I did hear, it sounds like it's going to be really cool, like the Flash is going to get even better than it already is.
Yay!
So looking very forward to that. But otherwise, despite Plastique dying, Plastique, by the way, was a real character in Arrow, not Arrow, in the Flash comic. So the name wasn't spoken just for no reason at all.
Oh, good.
So yeah, but it was a good episode in general. I mean, I liked the action in this one, but the only thing is, like, I was mad about, was like, why are they killing off the metahumans by the end of the show? And that was really my only kind of, I'll call it, pet peeve for the show.
Yeah, I agree. I think that needs to. I would really like to see a central villain. I guess Harrison is going to eventually become that, but I'm kind of anxious to get a actual known villain, someone I can fight with every week. Would be a little more interesting than basically doing a kind of procedural thing where they go up against a new person every week.
Right. I mean, it's cool for the first little bit, and I understand why they do it. They want to keep it fresh, sort of thing. But if they're gonna follow, obviously they're following the comic, but or if they want to follow it even closer, which some people are gonna appreciate, then they're gonna develop, or they're gonna bring around the character that was, we'll call it, a regular for a while.
Agree.
Because every cartoon comic sort of thing, they all have a nemesis of some sort. And they may not be fighting them directly every week, but they'll be fighting people who kind of work for them. And I mean, that's the point I want to see it kind of get to.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think one of the things that they kind of miss out with an angle is that there's probably a rival corporation in Star Labs that would be curious about maybe figuring out that Barry is the Flash and wanting to do their own experiments, so that he would become a property where they're going to war between. And that's something that they haven't even discussed, but Star Labs is the only one who is curious about this superhuman.
Right, exactly. I mean, and I think the fact that I kind of wasn't surprised that the General, and what's the doctor's name? I always forget his name at Star Labs.
Harrison Wells?
Harrison Wells. Well, is that no, not his character name, not his real name.
No, that is. That's the character's name.
Is it Harrison Wells? Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it is.
I'm not doubting it, Brett. I just, for some reason, it wasn't sounding right for a second, but that's just me. Anyways, so when the General and the Harrison were talking, I was kind of figuring, like, when he said, "Well, we used to work together," and then he wanted to do these things, so he took off. And obviously, they brought back the rivalry like that for a reason, especially when they came into Star Labs at the end.
Right.
So yeah, that's all. That's all going on for a reason. I mean, they are building to something.
I'm excited to see that kind of reach its crescendo.
Exactly. I mean, it's good. Like I said, it'll make it more interesting, and the show's always doing really well, and I've been liking it. So it's from the path it's going, it's going to be getting better and better.
Yay!
And one other thing, I was just thinking about this too, is they are gonna end up teaming up Arrow and Thea's father, who I'm blanking, Merlin.
Really?
So they will be teaming up at some point, but pretty much what was being said was Arrow's gotta get a lot better if he wants to compete and kind of work with Merlin, because apparently Merlin's a lot better fighter than he is.
Right.
So it looks like that will be happening. I'm not sure when, but it looks like they'll be teaming up for some sort of reason to fight whatever evil.
I'm excited about that because I really do like the Malcolm Merlin character, and John Barrowman is an incredible actor. I feel like he brings a mystique and just a poise to the show. So I'm excited to see them work together.
Right. So I like I said, that's what it's leading up to, and a lot of stuff is like fact. A lot of it's, and person will say, well, this is a guess, but the way it's adding up here, it looks like it'll be leaning towards this area of the show, or this is going to happen. And 9 times out of 10, they're right, because if you really like, thing is, I watch the show and I try to get as much out as possible, but at the same time too is I don't sit there and dissect it like shot by shot sort of thing. I kind of like, I'll retain what I retain watching it, but I'm not going to kind of really start taking like huge notes or anything like that on it.
Yeah, but see, notes are they're really helpful if you're trying to figure out the direction of the show, and sometimes I just like to enjoy the ride, and sometimes it gets me curious, and I'm trying to get inside the writer's mind. And I think I read an interview this week with the head writer at Arrow, and he was saying that basically they just love torturing the Roy character, and I thought, let's just take the gas pedal off the Roy character in general, but that's just me.
You know,
no amount of suffering is going to change how I feel about Roy.
And I don't see anything wrong with that. I'd probably be trying to irritate him too.
Yeah.
So yeah. So there's what, like maybe 3-4 more episodes before the season's done for the season. Well, to contradict myself there.
Yeah, I think there are probably 2 or 3 episodes left before what they're calling the fall finale or the
Right.
mid-season finale, and then they'll be back with new episodes in January to finish out the season, which will probably conclude sometime around May.
Right on. So just a few things I was noticing today, like, well, over the past few days on Rolling Stones, just like a couple kind of interesting things, somewhat amusing. Rush's Geddy Lee, the lead singer and bassist, he answered a bunch of Twitter questions, and which is for him is abnormal because like he doesn't have Facebook, he's rarely on Twitter, and like he's not a big fan of that the social media, just because like I said, he just goes just another addiction. Goes, I've got way too many already. I don't need another one. So it's pretty interesting. I mean, a lot of questions I had heard before, except for stuff like, well, what have you been doing? Because they've been off the year for road, and they're off the year for road. Wow, they've been off the road for a year. Everyone remember that one, eh? Are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay, I
here.
Okay. There's like dead silence. Everybody's like, did we lose you? So.
I was trying to figure it out. I don't have a minimal. I don't really know too much about Rush outside of the movie I Love You Man, so I may not be in on all the
Oh yeah, no. There's nothing wrong with that. The other thing, it was pretty funny. The title to the article caught my eye right away, and Dave Grohl and Taylor Swift Spotify fight, and I quote, "I don't effing care."
Dave Grohl doesn't effing care about Spotify?
About Taylor Swift's fight with Spotify right now.
Oh, okay. He doesn't care about that.
Yeah, because he's like, well, don't ask me. He goes, she's a good artist, but like I'm not gonna talk about it because like you just said, I don't really care. It's got nothing to do with me at all. So, like I said, I thought that was pretty funny. Like just on the title alone, and the other thing, well, this was pretty good, and this is something you're gonna want to read. But if you like Led Zeppelin, because Chris Cornell from Soundgarden, Audioslave, and his own solo stuff, he got a chance to talk to Jimmy Page about Led Zeppelin's glory days. So that was really cool, and it's definitely worth a read because he has some questions that I don't think you guys have heard before, heard the answer to. So I'm not going to spoil that. I'll let you just go to rollingstone.com to check that out. And the other thing is like I just want to talk about this one for a second, just because of the genre it's from. The Culture Club with Boy George from the 80s. They were going to do a tour of the UK and the US, but it's canceled now because unfortunately Boy George's got a throat problem. So he might have to have surgery, so they have to cancel both tours.
Oh no.
Which for people who like the Culture Club, I mean, that sucks, but everyone will be refunded their money, so you haven't essentially lost anything except not seeing a show, which kind of sucks. And I know how that is because I had that happen to me one time too, years ago. Luckily, I got a chance to see them. I think it was in Chicago when I saw that show, because it was a big ticket show, and they were coming to, because I lived in Michigan at the time. They're coming to the Silverdome where the Lions used to play. So on the bill was Beastie Boys, Busta Rhymes, a really cool band called At the Drive-In. Not together anymore, but they did make a new band called Mars Volta, which a lot of people should know about. Who else was on the bill? Wow, At the Drive-In, Busta Rhymes, Beastie Boys, and Rage Against the Machine.
Oh wow!
And it was a big bill, and I'd seen them. It was probably like a week or two before the show in Michigan was supposed to happen, which was a good thing I did, because get the tickets in the mail, like all ready to go to the show, and then get a letter in the mail from Ticketmaster saying the show's been canceled. And why? Because Mike D, one of the Beastie Boys, was riding to a recording session in one of their studios on his BMX, and he rode into a ditch and he dislocated his shoulder.
Yee.
So they canceled the show. Everybody got the refund, and they said, what? We'll let you know pretty much if there's going to be like another date, and then we'll refund your money, because there's going to be future days you still want to go. Just let us know, and we won't send you the refund, but if you want your refund, then we'll send you the cash or thing. And then probably about, I don't know, a few weeks went by, maybe a month. Then another letter, and I saw this on the news too. Had to do with one of the bands, the news, and the show was officially canceled. Why? Because Rage Against the Machine broke up. I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
No.
And I was so mad, but at the same time too, it was like, what? At least I saw the concert somewhere else. It sucked to get a chance to see it here, but at least I saw it somewhere else. At least I got to see them. But yeah, I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, man, I can't imagine that people who've never seen any of these bands live, and if I get a chance, and now it's canceled because one of the bands broke up, and then one of the guys rode into a ditch and dislocated his shoulder.
Ooh, that sounds like it was cursed, and that sucks. Why would they break up and then not fulfill their concert obligations, and then break up afterwards?
I'm not sure. I mean, they really didn't give too much detail, and they never do. It's kind of just like an idea of what happened, because the band will never give you the full dirt of why they broke up, especially if it got messy. Most of them are not going to spill the details because advised by their lawyers or what have you, that sort of thing. So I mean, most of the times, for these celebrity divorces, it's irreconcilable differences,
right?
And then with the stars, it's creative differences.
Yes, it's one of my favorites.
So what's the one to hear 9 times out of 10. So, but they won't say, we got to the point we couldn't stand each other anymore, or we just we just thought we couldn't make music together anymore, which has happened. I mean, and at least a few times that's been true, but that sort of thing. So you hear all these excuses, and and when that happened, pretty much 3 out of the 4 Rage members became audio slave with Chris Cornell,